Stocks dips after a steady start on a caution ahead of US elections and uncertainty over China's economic recovery, even as geopolitical worries linger. Auto and realty are the big drags, but IT ekes out some gains. Bajaj Auto Executive Director Rakesh Sharma tells CNBC-TV18 that the festive season has seen a soft start and he hopes for a pickup by the end. The comment spooks two-wheeler stocks on the inline earnings, but softer margins. Sharma points to the growing share of margin dilutive EV segment, and that has boosted the auto major's green energy portfolio to 44% of sales. City gas distribution will see nearly 20% lower gas allocated at administrated prices, leading them to raise imports of LNG to meet demand. CNBC-TV18 has learned the move can hurt profitability if the costs are not passed on. Noel Tata may join the Tata Sons board as the third nominee of the Tata Trust. CNBC-TV18 has learned a meeting of the board of Tata Sons is likely soon to take up the matter. China's latest briefing on stimulus to boost the housing sector underwhelms the lack of features and scant implementation on details are dampers. The disappointment is reflected in metals pulling back. Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18 and I'm Vinny Motiwala. A quick look at what the market is doing. Not a pretty picture coming in again for the markets. We're seeing pressure on the Nifty as well as the sensex, almost near the day's lowest point. Like you can see, down 0.7%, 24,788 levels. Around that is what the Nifty is trading at. Sensex just managing to hold on to that 81,000 mark, down 0.5% in trade. Let's also look at what's dragging in terms of the Nifty today. We have a lot of banking names that are coming. So whether you look at it, something like an ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, these are among the top drags that are there for the Nifty 50. And other than that, we also have Bajaj Auto and M&M in the auto side, which are among the top losers for the Nifty 50. So clear pressure that's coming because of the banking and the auto names. And that is why Nifty Bank and Nifty Auto both are under pressure as well. Let's look at that. Nifty Bank down 1%, Nifty Auto down 3%. You know, Bajaj Auto numbers were there, they were in line, but the commentary is something that didn't excite the street, and that is why the pressure on Nifty Auto and down 3% in trade. Only green that we're seeing on the screen from the sector-wise today is coming in from the Nifty IT names. So yes, Nifty IT managing to hold on to gains of 1.3%. Let's look at Infosys, Mphasis and TechM among the top gainers that are coming in for the Nifty IT. Mid and small cap not doing anything. Underperformance that is coming in from the Nifty mid as well as the Nifty small cap today, down more than 1% of the Nifty mid cap and 0.8% of decline for small cap stocks. Railway stocks buzzing in trade, so Titagar, RVNL and Jupiter Wagons among the stocks that are buzzing, while chemical stocks like SRF, HSCL in pressure, as well as Deepak Nitrite and Navin Fluorine. But let's move on and talk about and put that focus on Bajaj Auto, right? There's pressure clearly on Bajaj Auto. The stock is down and out. The commentary is something that has spooked the street. What more are the details on this? Let's go across to Sudarshan, who's joining in with that.
So it's not only Bajaj Auto, all the auto stocks are sharply lower in today's trade, and this has come after Bajaj Auto has reported earnings for Q2 FY25. Earnings were largely in line, but what has surprised market is commentary of weak festive demand. But before I go to that, just let's talk about the stock performance. In last few weeks, all the stocks have been seeing a fall that is ahead of Q2 earnings. Auto index has been down almost 11% and from record high that it hit on September 27, and all the constituents are down this month and even this week as well. For example, Bajaj Auto is now down almost 14%, Hero is down almost 7%, similarly with Maruti, M&M, TVS and Eicher. But the question is, what are the reasons of the recent fall? First, festive demand has been below expectations. Retail registrations have shown muted demand in the first half of the festive season, and this was confirmed by Bajaj Auto. Talking to CNBC-TV18 today, company has said in the first half, two-wheeler industry has seen a growth in the range of 1 to 2%, and this is against companies' expectations for the entire festive season is of 5 to 6%, and brokerages have factored in a growth in the range of 8 to 10%. Second is concerns related to inventory buildup. Brokerages ahead of Q2 earnings had raised this concern that was related to inventory buildup, and raw material cost also. We have been seeing that raw material costs have been increasing for the last few months. And second last is Hyundai IPO. Just now the news that the Hyundai IPO is fully subscribed, but in the last 2 days the demand was muted. And last is there is no comfort on the valuation front. If you see against the 5-year average, Bajaj Auto's FY26 P is at 28x against 5-year average of 20 times. For M&M, 26 times against 17 times, and similarly for Hero Motor, 20 times against 18 times.
Thanks so much for that, Darshan, a roundup, on why auto stocks are in focus today as well, especially Bajaj Auto. In fact, earlier today, we even managed to speak to Rakesh Sharma, Executive Director of Bajaj Auto, post their Q2 performance. Listen into some of the key highlights that he mentioned and the conversation that we had with him.
This is the fourth successive quarter of delivering 20% plus EBITDA margin. And what is noteworthy is that this is despite the fact that the electric two-wheeler portfolio has increased substantially. In fact, the electric portfolio of Bajaj Auto is now over 20% of the domestic revenues. And if I may add the green portfolio, the greener fuels portfolio is almost 44% of Bajaj Auto's domestic revenues. The 20% plus margin has to be viewed in the context of the substantially growing electric two-wheeler portfolio, which we are very, very happy about. I would say that the first half of the festive has been slightly below expectations. There is growth, but very marginal growth in the industry. The 100cc bottom half segment is, as per Vahan registrations, negative, and the 125cc plus segment is positive. But put together, the industry is at 1 to 2% growth in the first 15-16 days of the festive.
Okay, let's move on to some news from the Tata Group. Sources say that Tata Trust Board will be meeting soon with an eye on appointing the third representative to the board of Tata Sons. Shireen is joining in with us to give us details on that. Shireen?
Well, I am given to understand that that meeting is underway in Mumbai, and the decision will be to appoint the third nominee from the Tata Trust to the board of Tata Sons. Remember, at this point in time, there are two nominees that represent the Tata Trust on Tata Sons, Venu Srinivasan being one, Vijay Singh being the other. Now, at this board meeting of the Tata Trust, the decision will be taken on whether Noel Tata will be appointed as the representative of the trust on the Tata Sons board. It looks like it is likely to be a decision that will be carried through. Remember, Noel Tata has just been appointed as the chairman of the Tata Trust. Now, just for background and for the information of our viewers, the Tatas amended the Articles of Association post the Cyrus Mistry battle, where you cannot have the same individual as chairman of the Trust as well as Tata Sons. And so Noel Tata will come on board of Tata Sons, and of course N. Chandrasekaran will continue to be the chairman of Tata Sons, while Noel Tata will be the chairman of Tata Trust. So that is the expectation. We are, of course, awaiting clarity on the decision. No comments so far from Tata Trust. Comments are awaited.
Okay, waiting for some comments there, but we'll keep you all updated with that. Thanks so much for that, Shireen. Let's move on. And Niti Aayog member Ramesh Chand comments on the mechanical setting of the MSP on the A2 and FL formula is the reason for high food inflation, and adds that future Indian agri exports may become uncompetitive due to the high pricing. So let's listen into what more he had to say.
In case of cereals, much of what you will watch happening in the market is the translation of what we do to MSP. Okay. If we are increasing MSP by 6%, 5%, and some little factor adding from market, make it to 8% and 9%.
Okay.
So if because of shortage, price MSP is given raise in 1 year, that become a base for further rise in next years. And now we have a new formula,
Yes.
A2 plus FL into 50%. I'm not criticizing it, but that formula has led to detachment between what would be open market price and what is MSP in most cases. The reason and the consequence of this distortion are going to become heavier and heavier in future. Now we are facing inflation only. The second consequence will be when your home prices are so high, your export will be affected. And India is moving toward a situation where surplus are expected to rise. So that will become the second victim of this kind of things. So I think there is now a need to balance between interest of producer and consumer. That market distortion should be avoided. That are not to be costly for other sectors of economy.
And on to some updates from the primary market. Sudarshan did market a short while ago as well that Hyundai's 27,780 crore rupees IPO, which is the largest in India, has been fully subscribed as of 1 p.m. today. The total subscription was at 1.1 times, with qualified institutional buyers subscribing over 2.5 times, non-institutional investors subscribing over 0.36 times, and retail subscription at around 0.43 times. So that's the update coming in on Hyundai IPO. Keeping an eye on that. What will be the final data at the end of the day is what we're watching out for. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, and after the break, we'll bring you some more news updates on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18, and let's move on to the diplomatic updates that we have. India's relationship with Canada has soured further after the Canadian Prime Minister, claimed that there was no hard evidence behind allegations of India being behind the killing of Khalistani activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Parikshit is joining with us to give us more details on that.
Well, things seem to be moving fast between India and Canada, and the relationship is deteriorating. In fact, the Ministry of External Affairs has said that the testimony of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau before a public inquiry commission looking into foreign interference in elections just shows the cavalier attitude of the Canadian Prime Minister, which has seriously damaged the larger Canada-India relationship. The Ministry of External Affairs has gone on to say that the Prime Minister's testimony only confirms India's stand, which has been for the last 1 year, that there is no serious evidence shared by the Canadian government with India to support these allegations. For the last 1 year, Canada has been alleging that India is directly involved. Indian embassy officials are directly involved in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, the pro-Khalistani activist on Canadian soil, but they have never actually presented any hard evidence. So what happened in this public testimony? Justin Trudeau said that there was no hard evidentiary proof linking Indian officials with the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. He went on to say that the allegations are based on intelligence gathered from the Five Eyes partners, and there is no conclusive evidence. But the intelligence of the Five Eyes is extremely reliable. He also said that India has only chosen to respond to these allegations by attacking Canada and Canadians through public statements in the media, and India has tried to undermine the integrity and sovereignty of the Canadian government. So strong words coming there from Justin Trudeau. But remember, it's not just Canada. The Five Eyes partners, New Zealand, Australia, UK, they have all been urging India to act on the evidence presented by the Canadian government and cooperate with the investigation as well. But clearly, India-Canada ties on a downward spiral.
Thank you so much for that update there, Parikshit. Keeping an eye out on more updates that will be coming in on the India and Canada's relation going forward. But on the moving on to some update that is coming in on the aviation front. Now, in the last few days, aviation disruptions continue as 7 airlines are receiving at least 21 bomb threats in the last 4 days. All threats were found to be hoaxes, and no dangerous items were found after security checks. The Mumbai police has detained a minor in connection with 3 bomb threats made on October 14th to Indigo and Air India flights. Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu says that all the threats are being investigated and efforts are being made and taken to reduce the disruption in the sector. So more updates is something that we should be watching out here as well. On that note, let's just slip into a very short break. But after the break, we'll come back with more news and updates. Welcome back. You're watching Business Lunch on CNBC-TV18. Market is quite subdued. Nifty is down 0.8% in trade. And other than that, we have the real estate names also that are under pressure other than auto and banking. So Nifty Realty is also among the top drags that you're watching out for. Let's pull up the names like Oberoi Realty, Macrotech Developers, Prestige Estate. All of them under pressure in the real estate side as well, down more than 3% in trade as well. And Nestle also under pressure after its Q2 numbers, where volume growth was a miss. But let's move on and into moving on to some somber news. Now, former One Direction singer Liam Payne was found dead outside a hotel in Argentina's Buenos Aires after the 31-year-old fell from the hotel room balcony on the 3rd floor. The police in a statement said that he had fallen into the internal courtyard in the hotel and that they were investigating the circumstances under his death. Liam is survived by his 7-year-old son, Bear Payne. And moving on to some more news, and this is coming in from the state of Haryana. Nayab Singh was sworn in as the Chief Minister for the 2nd time in a row. Top NDA leaders, including PM Narendra Modi, BJP Chief JP Nadda, and UPC CM Yogi Adityanath were in attendance at the swearing-in ceremony in Panchkula. And the BJP was surprised the pollsters by winning the state for the 3rd straight time last week. Okay, and with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business Lunch on CNBC TV18. Thanks so much for tuning in. Midcap Radar up next.